Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Give yourself a round of applause. You made it to opening day. My name is, and we're a little loud on the mic here. My name is Greg Tveen. I serve as the board chair here at Grand Farm, and it is an absolute honor to welcome you all here today for a special day. Now, just a few hours ago, I had the privilege as a dad to have breakfast with my kids. I have an 8-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Anybody have children? Anybody act like a child in the legislature? Okay, good. So I'm talking to my kids, and I got access to the announcement that we're going to show here today, and I broke protocol, which is typical, and I showed my kids this incredible video you're going to see. And so the kids got bored because it was 2 minutes, and they said, Greg, you're going to be with all these important people at Grand Farm. And I said, yeah. And they said, well, can you tell them what we want? I'm like, sure. So my 8-year-old, she wants a horse. And my 6-year-old, he wants a robot. And my 5-year-old wants a zip line. And I started to talk about the history of agriculture and the role the horse played and how it was pivotal when we went from horses to machines. And if you've read Brad Smith's book from Microsoft, it talks about the day the horse lost its job and all the impact technology made for agriculture, from productivity to food quality. And then we started talking about robots. And my 6-year-old, who's a daredevil, when he was with you all at our grand opening, he talked about space farming, and he was excited about that. And my 8-year-old started to say, I'm not so sure about robots. I'm uncomfortable. And then my 5-year-old talked about zip lines, and she would really like one. I think today what we're going to be learning about is the power of technology, the uncertainty, the challenges our producers have, and the possibility technology has, both for current situations and in the future. We are here today because of an ecosystem of folks that care about technology, that care about our producers, from the high school students that were willing to skip school. And when we talk about collaboration, I just want to take a moment and say Kindred kids are sitting next to Castleton kids. And that's, right? Is this true? Okay, so everybody take a photo. It happened here. But we have big industry, people that flew in to be here. We've got entrepreneurs. We've got legislators. We've got family members. We've got school folks that they care about this sense of place. Grand Farm exists because of your support, because you show up, you participate. The farmers are willing to share the opportunities the technologists have for improvement. That was an attempt at humor, because I think Senator Sorvog's here, and he's told me that the entrepreneurs have a lot of room for improvement from time to time. But it's all possible because of collaboration. And when Grand Farm started, it started with a question of what's our region's major? And we said it's advanced technology and agriculture. And North Dakota State University and CHS collaborated to bring us our first event. That was back when we had a tent and a porta potty. Anybody remember those glorious days? And then we expanded to 3 porta potties, and things got really exciting. And then we got to work with the United States Department of Agriculture, and just a tremendous group that you're going to meet today in this collaboration. But the person that would probably be on our Mount Rushmore is our United States Senator John Hoeven. Originally from Minot, was in banking, served as our governor, and then was willing to serve in the U.S. Senate. Unfortunately, I used to take him for granted. I thought all states had world-class senators. And then I realized how special our senator is. There's times when he's campaigning, I'll see him before a football game putting up signs. There's times when he says, hey, Greg, I want to meet some folks. And I say, oh, you should come meet these fancy people. He's like, no, I want to meet the students. And I think what I'm so impressed with Senator Hoeven is the quality of his staff. From D.C. back in North Dakota, these are world-class folks. So I would ask all of you to join me in giving our United States Senator a standing ovation as we give him the opening game ball.
All right, thanks, Greg. What a nice introduction. Sit down and relax. That was your 7th inning stretch before the game started. Thanks, Greg, and really appreciate it. Do we have the volume right so I'm not too loud back there? Can you hear in the back okay? Do you care one way or the other? It's great. It's great to be here. Thanks, Greg. We have a really important announcement to make today. It's a fantastic announcement. But just to let the suspense build a little bit and to build on this baseball theme we're going with today, I want to introduce the team first. So I'm going to go through some introductions, and I think it's really important because just as in sports, you can't win without a good team. We didn't get here today without a really, really good team. So I'm going to take a few minutes and go through all that, and I'm going to let Greg hold this baseball. So I thank you, sir. And first I want to start with a guy that I've known and worked with in many different capacities. He was Speaker of our House of Representatives and in our legislature, and he was also served in Congress in the House. And most recently, and I worked with him when I was governor, and he was fantastic, a really great leader. And of course, when NDSU, Dave Cook, who we love, Dave and Katie, I mean, they were just the absolute best. Hated to see him go. But he jumped in and served as interim president. The first text I sent to him, I said, heck, interim, why don't you just be the NDSU president for about the next decade? He's that good, and he's shown to be that good. But my good friend Rick Berg, president of NDSU, at least for a while longer. Go Bison. Great job, Rick. Thanks for all you do, and I know you'll continue to do so much for the university. And this next guy, I would say he's the best ag commissioner out of all 50, except that you got to go with the territories too. So it's like 50 states and 4 territories that have ag commissioners. But he's hands down the absolute best. Doug Goring, ag commissioner. Where are you, Doug? There he is. Okay. And you're going to, you obviously already heard from Greg a little bit. You may hear some more from him. I don't know what his title is. He's like just the most amazing entrepreneur catalyst I've ever run across, and obviously been a guy that this doesn't happen without. So Greg, thank you, and thanks for the nice introduction. You're going to hear from our special guest today, Dr. Scott Hutchins, who is the Undersecretary for USDA. And I'm just got to get a couple definitions out of the way that'll be easier for when I make some comments. One is what I've always referred to as precision agriculture. Precision agriculture is now AgTech, which is broader, because Dr. Hutchins told me so. So if I say AgTech in my comments, that's for those of you that are my age, that's precision agriculture, okay? But it's broader. It's got some biotech, some other cool things in there. Maybe Dr. Hutchins will tell you about that during his remark. And then the other thing is, proving grounds is what I'd call test site. So when I say test site now, that's a proving grounds, okay? So if you're in Washington, D.C., remember it's AgTech and proving grounds for us out here that come out of the ag background, farm ranch stuff. It's precision ag and test sites. Good? Good on the definitions? Okay, that's just a setup for when I make some comments. Then let's see, you're going to hear from Dr. Stephen Mirsky, who is the ARS Digital Ag Director. So you're going to learn something there. And of course, Brian Carroll, Chief Operating Officer here at Grand Farm. He knows all this stuff. You know, he's out there. He's down with the new stuff, so he knows all about this. So he'll be our cleanup, keeping with the baseball tradition. He's our cleanup speaker. Okay, now, we got a lot of legislators here today, which is really great, because you legislators have been a big, big part of making this go. And we parked a ways out there, and I want to mention that asphalt out there would be really good, and then you wouldn't have to walk through the mud and stuff. So I don't know, with an upcoming session, I'm just saying, for your next visit, y'all, you know, when you get back in the truck or the car, you know, you don't have to take it home and wash or, you know, vacuum and wash inside if they had a little asphalt out there. So just a thought. But in all seriousness, you legislators that are here, thank you for being here. More importantly, thanks for the incredible support you've given this project. Grand Sky, we started Grand Sky in 2005 when I was governor. 2005, that was one of our first centers of excellence. For those of you who've been around in the legislature for a while, you know that. That's 21 years. And that place is just, we're rocking the world in all things drones. We're only in year 7 here. And we are, as we'll talk about today, on our way. Okay, so would the following individuals stand as I announce their name, and when they got them all standing, it's going to be hard for you to control your enthusiasm, because when I mention the first one, you're going to want to leap to your feet, you're going to want to clap and cheer, but don't. Just relax till I got them all standing, and then you can go nuts, okay? Senator Mike Wobama, who's also a great member of our Guard for many years, part of our fantastic Air Guard. Senator Ron Sorvag. Short little guy, Senator Mark Weber. Be hard to see him when he stands up. Senator Christian Roars. Senator Dale Patton. Senator Jeff Magram. Senator Sean Cleary. Senator Cole Conley, Senator Larry Lueck. Now go nuts, let's show them some love. Come on, come on. Now I was going to introduce the House members too, but the senators asked me not to. So, no, of course not. Representative, same drill. Representative Carrie McLeod, Carrie. Senator Mitch Osley. Representative, excuse me. I don't know why I'm stuck on that senator thing. Representative Carrie McLeod, Representative Mitch Osley. Come on, you guys stand there. Okay, there's Carrie. I don't see Mitch. Where's Mitch? Representative Greg Steeman. Representative Craig Headland. Get out there where we can see you, for Christ's sakes. Come on. Brandy, show them how to do it. Representative Brandy Pyle. Good, see? This is how you do it, guys. All right. I knew she'd get it right. Representative Mike Nathy, the pride of the capital city. Where are you? Get out here where we can see you. Representative Dick Anderson, Representative Jim Jonas, Representative Randy Belts, Representative Robin Weiss, Representative Jonathan Worry, and Representative Gretchen Dobrovich. Now let's show them some love. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All right. All right. I mean it. I tried to do that when I was governor, and I try to do it now. You guys do it right. You do a hell of a job. And you need to be recognized and thanked for it. It's not an easy one, as you know. But you are the true epitome of citizen legislators, and you do it right. Mayor Fott, City of Castleton, I want to acknowledge him. Tony Grinberg, Chair of the Cass County Commission. Joel Vettel, Cass County Commissioner. Also, I want Shannon Full. Shannon, where are you? She's got 3 or 4 chambers of commerce under her belt, but she said I think you have the most, right? Of any, you can see you got Fargo, you got West Fargo, you got Moorhead, Horace, Oak Grove, Harwood. Yeah, so more than any other. Anyway, she does an awesome job at the chamber. And then Joe Raso with the EDC. Thanks for being here, guys. And we have a bunch of FAA members here, FA members here, Mrs. Hannah Gress and her Central Cass FFA. We also have Kindred FFA, and we have Tate and Cole, who are the state president and the state vice president. So let's show them all some love. Come on. All right. So, I don't usually do this, but I want to say this correctly. Today really is a big deal. Today is a big event, but it's a game changer. This is really taking Grand Farm, which is a new and exciting model, which is already making a big impact here, but we're going to the national level. That's what today is about. We are going to the national level. USDA is set up national proving grounds for AgTech across the country. We will be the first proving grounds in the country, and we will be the national programmer for the entire country. How's that sound? That's a big deal. That's a game changer. So that's why remember we did the little terminology thing at the outset? So in essence, we're going to be the first test site for the network that the USDA is setting up across the country. The proving ground, they call it. We may call it test site, but for precision ag, we're going to be the first test site, and Grand Farm is going to be the national program manager for the other test sites. That's a big deal. That's a big deal in anybody's book. So, Taveen, you never cease to amaze me, you and your amazing crew. So, how do we get here, right? How do we get to this point? Well, 2019, so 7 years ago, as I mentioned earlier, Grant Sky was born. We had Secretary Sonny Perdue, USDA secretary at that time, came out and he cut the ribbon, and Grand Farm was born. 7 years later, a little over 6 years later, another Secretary of Agriculture comes out here, Brooke Rollins, and of course sees what you're doing. We had her out here last year. We had her at NDSU. Great event at NDSU. She comes out and sees Grand Farm. I don't know what she expected to see, but she was impressed. And yet they had demonstrations all over the place out there, and she's going around like a trooper outside. The wind's going about 100 miles an hour. But she goes through all that. She wants to see everything. Tractors driving themselves around, everything, just crazy good stuff. In here, great event. And then she sends Scott Hutchins out, and Scott sees it, and he's the guy that's driving their AgTech initiative, their National AgTech Initiative. So thanks to the vision of Secretary of Ag Brooke Rollins and Scott Hutchins, Undersecretary, they say, hey, these guys got a model here that's pretty amazing. And we want to develop this precision ag or ag tech across the country. We don't have to recreate the wheel. Why don't we take the model that they've developed here and take it national? And that's exactly what they're doing. So thanks to the vision of Secretary Rollins and Undersecretary Hutchins, that's why we are going to be the first test site and the National Program Manager. Now, that model essentially we've put together over the last, actually not 6 years, probably the last 3 years or so. So I'm on Ag Appropriations. We've secured about $11 million for what we call the Ag Cooperative Agreement. There are 3 members in the Ag Cooperative Agreement. NDSU, the best, finest school of agriculture in the country. ARS, Ag Research Services, which is located at NDSU, and one of the largest ARS centers located at a university, at a land-grant university in the country, and Grand Farm. Those are the 3 partners in our AgTech cooperative, funded with about $11 million. And what do they do? Well, if you think about it, there's 2 aspects of funding for ag research. Again, we fund all these through ag appropriations. First is ARS. ARS, Ag Research Services, that's USDA's research, okay? So we fund that. That's the research they do, ARS, Ag Research Service, USDA. Then NIFA, which is a National Institute for Food and Agriculture, that's the money that we put out to the universities. So for example, this past year, we provided about $50 million to NDSU and ARS right here. That's about what we worked to appropriate last year. So it's a big number, and it's a big number every year. So these guys, so Brooke and Scott say, okay, we want to drive ag tech, precision ag across the country. Here's some guys who have a model where Grand Farm is working with ARS and NDSU, ARS funding, NIFA funding, and they're developing a great test site, and they're interfacing the specialty that Greg and Brian and these guys have is their ability to understand technology and to bring companies that are great tech companies but don't know squat about agriculture, or some that are in ag already, bring them out here, and this is the test site, this is the proving ground where they bring it all together. So, again, Secretary Rollins, Secretary Hutchins, instead of creating a new wheel, they say, hey, there's the model that we're going to use for our National Ag Tech Initiative, and Grand Farm is going to be the manager for all of them. So it's a huge deal. It's Grand Farm going national. So Greg, congratulations. Hell of a job. All right. Now, to tell you what I've told you, but just do it one heck of a lot better, I'm going to ask Scott Hutchins to come up. And Scott, you come up, and I'm going to step here, but then I think you got a little video to show too, right? But first, please, your remarks. Please welcome Undersecretary Scott Hutchins.
Well, thank you so much, Senator Hoeven. We really very much appreciate that and very much appreciate the partnership. And I can't tell all of you here from North Dakota how lucky you are to have such a supportive senator, not just for your state, but for agriculture, and not just for North Dakota agriculture, but for U.S. agriculture. It's really been a pleasure to get to work with him and his team in putting this together, and it is going to be a big deal. It is going to be a big deal. I also want to thank Greg and his team for hosting us today, and also providing us the inspiration and the motivation to be able to think about how we put all this together. We visited, members of my team visited early March, I think it was, and it was a roll-up-the-sleeves workshop session where we began to identify how can we bring this to life, what are the missing elements, what do we need to do to make this concept come together. And Greg and his team were always receptive to that, open to think about how we might do it, and together we put together the beginning of a plan that we're going to begin to implement here very soon. But before I go too deep into the plan, I did want to show a video that the Senator referenced, and this is on behalf of my boss, Secretary Brooke Rollins, and the Senator and myself, where it's really the official kickoff of this, which we refer to as the USDA National Proving Grounds Network for AgTech. So with that, can we have the video?
Hey everyone, this is Brooke Rollins here at the U.S. Department of Agriculture with my great friends, Chairman John Hoeven, and also the incredible Undersecretary Scott Hutchins. We have a big announcement. Today, the USDA is taking another bold step to show farmers that they come first. A new and novel National Proving Grounds Network for AgTech will help producers cut input costs, reduce risk, boost productivity, and access trusted data on precision ag tools and other ag tech.
American farmers and ranchers are under real pressure, and they need confidence that new technologies will deliver real value on the farm, whether it's through reduced inputs, reduced labor, or just greater efficiencies. And that's where USDA's Research, Education, and Economics mission area steps in to help, seeking to accelerate the development of next-generation tools by utilizing the Agricultural Research Service and the Great Land Grant Universities, along with our partners at the Grand Farm in North Dakota. The National Proving Grounds Network for AgTech will rigorously test and validate available and emerging tools under real American farming conditions. Innovation, along with the skill and dedication of U.S. farmers and ranchers, has been the engine driving our nation's agricultural success for over 250 years. And USDA, with this announcement, is boldly embracing the next generation of new and exciting technologies.
This new partnership will be a game changer for Grand Farm, North Dakota's innovation campus for precision agriculture. Utilizing funding we secured in agriculture appropriations to leverage Grand Farm's expertise, Grand Farm will now manage and oversee USDA's National Proving Grounds Network for AgTech. We appreciate and praise the vision of Grand Farm's Greg Tveen, Brian Carroll, and William Adderholt. And we especially thank Secretary Rollins for her strong leadership, her commitment to our nation's farmers and ranchers, and for making this exciting partnership possible.
This is where science, technology, performance, and return on investment data unite to support the department's mission to promote a safe, affordable, and abundant food supply, while ensuring our farmers and our ranchers have profitable businesses. We welcome your partnership as we build transparent, science-based processes that will ensure U.S. agriculture thrives for generations and benefits from the exciting digital ag revolution. Thank you.
The Secretary sends her regrets, but she was here, I think, actually a year ago this month, and so she knows what's here, as the Senator referenced to, and so she's very pleased and proud to have the opportunity to partner here in North Dakota and with the Grand Farm. Well, one of the themes that hopefully you heard through that short message was profitability for farmers and ranchers. The Secretary, the first time we believe in the history of USDA, has actually published her R&D priorities for USDA, and top among those is to help our farmers and ranchers become more profitable. And that's what this effort and this initiative is all about, because we believe that the adoption of not just the development, but the adoption of technology, particularly as we move into the digital age, is going to be a game changer and allow farmers to produce their crops and their livestock more efficiently with less labor, perhaps, but at the end of the day, with input reduction so that we can increase the profitability and the bottom line to our farmers and ranchers. So how does that begin? Well, that starts with a series of transformational goals. In 2020, we published a USDA, or U.S. Ag Innovation Strategy, and we outlined at that point in time what we felt like some of the key technology themes would be of the day and into the future. We're now 4 years later, and we are taking the next big step, which is to define and identify and characterize some major transformational goals. Things such as next generation weed management, digital scouting with precision intervention, on-the-fly fertilization. We're talking about specialty crops with automated harvesting. There's no limit beyond your imagination for row crop, specialty crop, and animal agriculture on how these new technologies can have an impact. And that's the opportunity, but it's also the challenge, because there are so many opportunities, so many companies, and so many approaches that we need to find a way to be able to sort through that and help our farmers and ranchers understand which ones are the ones that can provide them the greatest return on investment, the ones that can provide them the kinds of support that they need on their individual farm situations and conditions. So we've developed this network, which includes those transformational goals, the markets that they represent. So you can think of a market as corn, soybeans, you can think of it as sugar beets, you can think about small grains or cotton or cattle production or apples or filberts or whatever you can think of. That would be the market times those transformational concepts. But the real value that we have, or opportunity we have with our tremendous land grant network in the United States, is also to include those different locations. So as we talk about the network, we're talking about the goals times the markets, times the locations. And that's the overall network. And you can see quickly how large and complex that can be and how important it becomes to the entire nation that we develop this in unison. And that's where Grand Farm plays a very critical role in helping us serve as the project management office to help us organize that, to work with, support, and bring in companies of all size, from startups to major international or multinational companies, in order to be able to bring their technologies to these proving grounds so that we can understand and characterize their performance. Equally exciting to me is the opportunity not just to publish and put forth some sort of 4-star, 3-star rating or whatever it might be for already existing technologies, but to then work under proprietary conditions with companies that are not ready for prime time, that have not commercialized, but then to put the great resources of the land-grant institutions, of the United States Federal Agricultural Agencies, such as the Agricultural Research Service, and others to bear to help those companies get across the finish line so that their technologies can support U.S. agriculture. And let's be clear, we want U.S. agriculture to have a fair but clear advantage in the world with the adoption of these technologies, so that our farmers and ranchers can benefit first, so that they can experience the profitability and the efficiency and the gains first, and be able to continue to grow and reduce our trade deficits and make us a much stronger agricultural ecosystem. I know I'm biased because I lead the research part of USDA, but I firmly believe that technology and these kinds of advancements are going to be the secret to our expanded competitiveness. We are matching the support with this as well from internally. I'm pleased to announce, and he'll be speaking here shortly, that Dr. Stephen Mirsky, who's our Director for Digital Ag at the Agricultural Research Service, will be on point and leading this effort for the Agricultural Research Service. Dr. Mirsky has at his disposal over 90 research laboratory organizations across the United States with the Agricultural Research Service, close to 2,000 scientists across all different crops and so forth. So he will be working across that network. And as the Senator mentioned, we also, within our mission area, have the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and we've already worked with that team to be able to identify how we can utilize some of their research funding to support this effort. And we believe that the Extension Service specifically will have a very important role to play across the United States with our land grants to help do the testing, to help understand, help if you will, work with farmers and ranchers to be able to bring what they learn and what they understand about these emerging technologies to the farm. We also have the opportunity at USDA. We do work as a team. There are 8 mission areas, and I'm pleased to say that we all really work together as a team. And so, for example, we're already having discussions with farm production and conservation mission area led by Undersecretary Fordyce to understand how these kinds of ratings, how these kinds of evaluations can be used in some of his programs within FPAC. And he's very excited about the possibility, for example, of being able to qualify or utilize some of the technologies that emerge from this to support his mission area objectives. Working with Undersecretary Mindy Brashears in food safety. She's very interested in seeing how we could use some of these technologies for food safety inspections and observations remotely that are much more perhaps efficacious than using the human eye over long periods of time. So, as I said earlier, we're really only limited by our imagination in terms of what some of these basic and fundamental new technologies can be utilized for within the entire chain of agriculture, from farm all the way through consumer and even nutrition as we think about precision nutrition. But our focus here is on the farm and it's on the ranch, and to try to bring technologies foremost in a way that growers can feel comfortable with the investments that they might be making in that regard. So with that, I'm going to stop, and I know we'll have an opportunity for questions later, but I want to turn it over to Dr. Mirsky to say a few words from the Agriculture Research Service.
So just a small project, is that what I'm hearing? Yeah, okay. Thank you for having me here today. Thank you, Senator Hoeven, Dr. Hutchins, and our partners with Grand Farm. It's really an honor to be up here today as we launch this new USDA effort, a critical next step in advancing innovation to our American growers. ARS have a long history in improving crop productivity and strengthening the global competitiveness of U.S. farmers by delivering science-based solutions to the critical challenges that we face in this nation in our food production systems. And we're here to build on that legacy today, to position ARS and the U.S. farmer for this era of digital agriculture. We need to ensure that we are accelerating the rates in which we drive innovation, not just developing new technologies, but also ensuring that these technologies are evaluated to build trust with our farmers and ultimately adoption. And that is the role of the USDA National Proving Grounds Network for AgTech. Folks, we're at the precipice of this massive amount of new technology coming at us all the time, right? This is the AI revolution. We have sensors everywhere. We're deep down this transition to autonomy, if you will. And it's providing all sorts of new opportunities, greater efficiencies, reducing our inputs, our labor, helping us build our soil health and develop a more resilient cropping system. However, the infrastructure, the national infrastructure, if you will, that supports the testing and the evaluating of these technologies is not keeping pace with the innovation that's coming our way. Currently, it's a fragmented landscape of university and government testing sites, commercial industry and their demonstrations, as well as some on-farm testing. But these folks are all siloed from each other. We don't have standard testing protocols or performance criteria that we're using to evaluate and test these, which ultimately slows down the time it takes for our farmers to build trust in a technology and ultimately adopt that technology. The USDA National Proving Grounds for AgTech is here really to close that gap. It's a nationally distributed network of public sector locations of ARS, the Ag Research Service, and our land-grant university partners, where we will deploy and test commercial technologies and the pre-commercial technologies using standard methodology and protocols that we develop and ensure that we are testing them in real-world conditions throughout the country and the systems that these technologies were developed for. In the case of ARS, we'll be providing that scientific leadership. We'll be working with our stakeholders to ensure we're setting the priorities and the targets. We will be helping to standardize these metrics and these protocols and helping to build the platform that communicates the results to our stakeholders. Our partners at Grand Farm, they're really the operational hub. They're where the project management office lives. They're coordinating the field activities, they're engaging with the technology developers, and they're ensuring that we have a highly repeatable platform that can be rapidly scaled. It's an exciting partnership where we can move fast, be nimble, have that scientific integrity, and make sure that we are really providing those real-world testing environments. I think that this is a really exciting time, and when I think about the success of this program and how we'll gauge success, our success is based on, one, that we are creating these benchmark testing and rating systems. Two, that we're rapidly scaling across the country to many sites in the different farming systems and ranching applications. And three, that we are providing these results back to our stakeholders rapidly. So it's really exciting to be part of this multi-agency, public-private partnership, and I think that will make a really big impact on how we deliver the data that our farmers need to make the best decisions about the technology that fits into their systems. So thank you.
All right, big thanks to both Dr. Hutchins and Dr. Mirsky. And now we're going to bring up Brian Carroll, who is the Chief Operating Officer here at Grand Farm. Brian.
Thank you, Senator. Grand Farm, we at Grand Farm are honored to serve as the National Program Manager for the National Proving Grounds for AgTech. This is a big deal for us, and the reason why it's a big deal is because all of our partners here in this room helped contribute us to get to this point. When Senator Hoeven brought Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue out to the Grand Farm 7 years ago, we had a tent, we had a porta potty, and we had a couple partners, NDSU, CHS, and us, and we started working together. And through that process, we started to understand where the value was. The value was to identify problems and challenges from the grower, bring those challenges into the industry, bring an ecosystem approach that includes startups, industry partners, researchers, and bring it together to advance technology for agriculture. This initiative that we have right here with the National Proving Grounds is an extension of that work. We have a running start. We've been working with the USDA and ARS, NDSU, our research partners across the region, and we've been able to develop this model that brings people together. As we think about it, this is our major to the world. Our ability to declare our major here in the Red River Valley is around agriculture and what we can do to solve challenges. The National Proving Ground is the next chapter in that. This allows us an opportunity to bring folks together, identify opportunities, inject technology where it needs to happen, and do it in a collaborative way. What we've been able to do here is build a team. Innovation is built at the speed of trust, and you need to have a great team in order to do that. I want to thank our partners, many who are here in this audience. I want to thank the state of North Dakota, the state legislature. That early investment into this site right here has replaced those porta potties that we talk about in those tents, and has given us an opportunity to build a vision that can match our aspirations. And on this stage right here in this audience, we have a great team, and I am really thankful for everyone's effort. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, well, we're going to wrap up. I do want to mention Greg Lardy, Vice President of all things agriculture at the finest school, finest land-grant university in the United States. Greg, we love you. Also from my staff, State Director Jessica Lee. You all know Jessica does such hard work. Alex Finken and Calla Wickenheiser, who works with us in D.C. If you have any question on ag night or day, call Calla. She'll take care of it. And by the way, Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins just texted me and said, "Big day, 5 exclamation points." Congratulations.
Okay, so real quick, Senator, do we have a time for a quick Q&A?
Sure.
All right, well, let's come up here. You guys come up here. If folks from the media want to raise their hand, ask questions, we want to create that opportunity right here. Do you want me to, okay, how do we do this? You tell me. Sure. I'll run to you. Okay, ready? Say your name and your high school mascot.
Kirsty Madej, GHEC Mustangs. So I'm actually with WDAY News. And how will this initiative help the local and North Dakota economy, and how many jobs will it create?
So, first off, the way it helps, one of the first things that Dr. Hutchins said to me is we have to focus on how we can improve profitability for our farmers. Right now, if you're growing a crop, in most cases, you're not making money. And so, right up front, he said, how do we use precision ag tech, all these different things to help our farmers be successful, to improve their profitability, think AI, think all these things, improve profitability, and bring the next generation into farming. Now, that's the right place to start. How you make sure that we have this network of family farms and ranches, not only now, but for future generations. And that's where he starts, and everything else comes from that. And talk to anybody in rural America, in farming, and of course ranching's do a little better right now, but they had a long, tough spell. But you talk to any of them, and they'll tell you, yeah, that is front and center, and this is leading the charge. This effort is leading the charge nationally. So it's going to have huge impact, not just in North Dakota, but for the country. Doc?
Thank you. Well, you spoke perfectly to the economy for the farmers, but as we talked about, our goal as well is to help small companies or all companies of all sizes to be successful as well. There's a very rich startup community in general, and the startup community also is strong in agriculture. We have a lot of startups, but as I often say, we want a few stay-ups as well, because we need to get them to get to the finish line, because what they're working on is to benefit our farmers and ranchers. And so I have an abundance mentality. There's enough for everybody. There's enough business for those companies, and there's certainly enough opportunity for our farmers and ranchers.
All right, fellows, I'm up here in the front. I'm here with Tyler from the Red River Farm Network.
Thank you. Senator Hoeven, thanks for doing this, and thanks for taking my question. With Grand Farm set to host the first proving site here, what's the time frame like for that? And also, my high school mascot is a Mountie, Ligonier Valley High School in Pennsylvania.
Thank you for the question. So we are working aggressively. When somebody mentioned earlier, I've been so pleased and encouraged by working with Grand Farm, because they're all about let's get after it. So actually in 2026, we're going to have some pilot programs that we start both here in North Dakota as well as their affiliate in Georgia. And then beyond that, we're going to expand and multiply. We can't, as I say, boil the ocean. We can't do everything at once. We're going to work our way to make sure that we're successful, that we work any kinks out, that we create the kind of branding and the kind of credibility that we need and expect to have. But we're going to move right on it. That's the reason we're anxious to kick it off today.
Yeah, this shows how Tavine works. It's so amazing. So he's not, we brought Senator Bozeman out here, who obviously a good buddy of mine, chairs the authorizing committee. I have AgApproach. He and Tavine are already like texting buddies, almost to the point where I worry about both of them a little bit. Kidding, of course. But Greg built that relationship. But by the same token, when we had Sonny Perdue out here, he built a relationship with, at that time, Ag Secretary of Perdue, who then went back and became the president of the University of Georgia. And that's why, you mentioned another proving ground. So Greg's been working, continue to work with Sonny Perdue, and we're going to be interfacing with Georgia. I mean, that's the kind of national networking these guys do at Grand Farm, and that's why Grand Farm is going to be the national program manager, because they know how to do it.
Eric Helverson, Black Gold Farms. High school mascot, we were the Midway Monarchs. So you mentioned the model here at Grand Farm as being something that was a catalyst to this, and of course the team here and the networking. But what else about North Dakota and this spot in particular was the reason that it's chosen to lead the whole network?
Well, honestly, I don't know if we need another reason, but what I can say is that, North Dakota really is perfect in the sense it has a very diverse agriculture, has over 40 different kinds of products, markets, and applications that can be utilized and tested here, has a great knowledge, has a phenomenal land-grant institution just down the road with NDSU. So, as I say, I think, because it is a national network, you could consider a lot of places, but I personally haven't seen a place that had all the pieces to put together to allow us to accelerate and move quickly in that regard. So,
Say something about potatoes. That's what he really wanted to hear was something about potatoes. Yes, potatoes will be a big part of it. So you can tell the doctor of potatoes sitting next to you, doctorate from NDSU, that potatoes will be front and center. Seriously, specialty crops. One of the reasons they picked it is because we do a lot of specialty crops as well as the traditional, Title I crops.
All right, well, as we wrap up, it's April 7th. I hope everybody can remember this day, look around these people, this ecosystem, solving real problems. It's an honor to be here. So to the high school students, you have one period left, so get back for that. To the North Dakota legislators, thanks for showing up. To the producers that spend each and every day giving it their best to make it work for not only our families, but for the nation. To Senator Hoeven, Undersecretary Hutchins, it is an honor to be here. So, hey, did we hit a home run? Can we get some feedback? Home run?
Home run.
Home run! All right, have a great afternoon.
Not only a home run, but a great...
Keep us on it.